What is going on, everybody? Holy cow, what a week of football. Is it 1 a.m. where I am? Are the neighbors' dogs barking for hour 3 on end? And do we have a show and a stack of papers to go through? Yes to all of the above. Thank you for being with me. I am Tristan Bunn. This is Sports Bluff. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about it. Trying to build this channel, honest football talk, the way you remember it, and getting away from the typical media talking points and trying to have some fun while doing it. If that's allowed, fun is allowed on this show. Don't tell anybody else. We hold a trademark for it. We have a ton to get into tonight. We're going to go through most of the games. Denver's epic comeback on New York. The Eagles looking great. Dak dealing in Dallas. The Atlanta disaster. The Chiefs looking great. We've got a lot to get into, so I won't waste your time. We will jump right into it. I was looking over my notes before my wife left tonight to go to work, and she didn't say it, but I could see as her eyes scanned my work area, she thought it. She said to herself, "Tristan, surely to God you're not going to lead your show with Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos." I'm glad she didn't verbalize that thought, because my answer would have been, "You damn right I'm leading the show with Bo Nix and Denver Broncos," mainly because that was just the craziest result of the day. Denver scores 33 points in the fourth quarter to come back and beat the Giants 33-32 in what was truly one of the wildest games you'll watch. Just a game the Giants controlled for most of it. I had a little cheddar on the Giants in this game. It felt like it was comfortable. And then in the fourth quarter, somehow Denver crawls back into it. Denver almost got screwed by a completely bullshit pass interference call that ended up leading to a New York Giants touchdown. The sports gods kind of made it right because they missed the PAT. Denver drove downfield, got the field goal, because it would have felt bad if they won on that. If the Giants won on that PI, that was a disaster. My takeaway from this game is this is a really gutsy and impressive win by Denver. I've been lower on Denver than most of the people on YouTube, definitely most of the sports media, the media, the actual media, not us losers with microphones. I just haven't seen what everybody said we would see. Preseason, everybody that went to Denver training camp was like, this squad is incredible. Sean Payton says this is one of his Super Bowl teams, and he's only said that 6 times in his career. Those other times he had Drew Brees, and I especially when you watch this game, you're starting to see it's like all of Sean Payton's quotes to the media about believing in Bo Nix and how they had him the highest rated quarterback. They're glad he fell to them. They would have picked him number 1, all this. It really feels like he was trying to sell himself on that, because Bo Nix is kind of the weak link for this team, although he did what he needed to do at the end of this game. I'm not taking anything away from them. I preface it and set it up that way to say, I don't think Denver is a great team. I really don't. But the fact that they were able to come back in this game, score 33 in the fourth, grind out this win, that shows a level of toughness, a level of, excuse the overused phrase, mental fortitude that is needed to really test yourself in the National Football League. If you really want to go far in the postseason or make a run, you do need that. And I was impressed by Denver getting this win, because I didn't know if they had this kind of performance in them, especially with the deficiencies they sometimes have at quarterback. The other thing I wrote down in my notes to bring up in this game is I think that is one of the pieces that a great coach brings you. I don't know if many people would argue that Sean Payton's not a great coach. Like, Sean Payton is a great football coach. He's a Super Bowl winner. He was constantly competitive in the playoffs with the Saints. Him and Drew Brees had a legendary run together. And now what he's doing with Denver is really impressive. I mean, he's turned them around. They were a complete disaster. They made the playoffs last year. He's got them atop the division basically this year. And I think when you have that veteran presence at head coach, when you have that leader who's been there before, who's seen all of the situations you can imagine, it says a lot and it helps elevate your football team above some of these other guys, like a team like the Giants, who, and I think I like Daboll more than most people, but he's still relatively new at being a head coach. Sean Payton's been doing it for over 2 decades at this point. That matters. Just like that matters at quarterback, as we saw Thursday night with Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. Obviously the age can have its up and downs when you're playing, but a veteran presence, someone who's seen everything and who knows what to expect, that means a lot. And I don't know if Denver comes back in this game if they don't have a coach like Sean Payton. It reminded me, and it kind of brought the parallel of if anyone watched the Georgia Ole Miss game this weekend and what Kirby Smart does for Georgia, just no matter what happens, they're always in it. They're never out of the ball game. They always believe in themselves. And Sean Payton brings that to Denver. Bo Nix, 27 for 50, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 2 rushing touchdowns, 48 yards. Throwing it 50 times, not ideal, but when you get behind in a game, that's just something that you have to do. Their big knock for me was penalties, 12 penalties for 127 yards. They were 4 for 13 on third down, but all of that's kind of irrelevant. That's all just paper stats, and they were able to win the football game. Coming up next, Denver's got Dallas at Houston, the Raiders, and the Chiefs. A manageable stretch. Obviously, the Chiefs game, that's going to be a big one. We all have that one circled. Dallas, it'll be so fun to see that Denver defense come up against that Dallas offense. We'll get into Dallas a little bit later in the show. Make sure you hang around for that. Just briefly, touching on the Giants side, Jackson Dart's a player. I really like Jackson Dart. I like what they're building in New York. If I was running the show, I wouldn't fire Daboll. I would let him keep rolling with the quarterback he picked, Joe Shane. That's a different argument. But really, Jackson Dart's interception late in the game was a crucial mistake. He threw that interception in the fourth quarter with I can't remember. I think it was 7 minutes left. That's the rookie mistake you don't want to see happen. Some of that maybe is on the coaching staff. Maybe it's on the play call and being a little aggressive, because you really just want to try to grind out the clock, force Denver to have to go the length of the field if they get the ball back, put them in a tough situation. And when you turn the ball over at the 20, that's really what gives them life. If that interception doesn't happen, I don't care about how resilient Denver is, well coached. I don't think they come back in that game. And that's what they needed. Jackson Dart's interception just cracked the door open just a little bit. Sean Payton kicked it down. And Bo Nix was really great late in the game. He really was. Maybe not most of the game, but late in the game, he delivered an impressive performance from the Denver Broncos. We'll see, because they are on a collision course with Kansas City. Let's talk about Philadelphia. They played the Vikings today. They won in a game they desperately needed, just for a vibes perspective, to get the mojo back, as I like to say. They won 28-22. They really needed this. And my takeaway is, if Jalen Hurts plays like this, they are a Super Bowl contender. It really is that simple, because we've seen at this point, Saquon Barkley is not what he was last year. That's not taking anything away from him. His usage, his amount of carries, his yardage last year, it's impossible to follow that up. You can look back through NFL history, guys who have a crazy season like that, where you're talking about 2,000 yards, that many touches, that many carries, that many yards after contact. They're not following it up with another 1,800-yard season. It's just not happening. The running back position's already tough as it is, and the amount of physical damage that the body takes there, you can't have back-to-back seasons like that. Plus, the offensive line isn't as good as it was last year. That's kind of one of the overlooked storylines of the Philadelphia Eagles season, is that the offensive line has taken a step back. They weren't able to bring Becton back. They're not as dominant as they were last year on the offensive line. Plus, Saquon Barkley having a slight regression not because he's not a great player, just that's what happens. That's why they've been in this position. And there's been frustration, obviously, as we've all noticed, because Philadelphia is just crazy, man. I mean, they could be undefeated and there'll be squabbling in the building and something will be awry. You never know what's going on over there. That seems to be I was going to say it seems to be the Sirianni Eagles, but I think it's just the Eagles. I think that's the way they've always operated. If Jalen Hurts can do this, they will be fine. And to Eagles fans, I would say it's going to be bumpy. He's not going to be able to do this every week. You're going to have your ups. You're going to have your downs. There will be good weeks. There are going to be bad weeks. But Jalen Hurts has proven that he can do this. He was 18 for 23, 326 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 19 completions, 326 yards, an average of 14.2 a completion. Devontae Smith, 9 catches for 183 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. That is what the squabbling has been about in Philadelphia. That's kind of been the chatter because we weren't airing the ball out. The offense looked bland. Petula was kind of on the hot seat. We didn't know what they were going to do with that. And here they come in the game they've got to have after that devastating loss to the Giants. And while it wasn't pretty, while it wasn't dominant, they did what they needed to do. And one other thing about Jalen Hurts is we can critique him, say what you will about him, because I'm definitely not going to pretend he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he is. But one attribute he has that I think is worth mentioning, he has proven that he steps up in the biggest moments. And we know that he plays his best in the postseason. Other than the year they had the collapse and that playoff game, it didn't matter how he played, the team had given up at that point. We know Jalen Hurts is going to deliver in the playoffs. He shows up when he needs to in the biggest moments, and he delivers. And that's a credit to him. I don't care if you want to argue about it. That is a skill. That is something that some guys have and some guys don't. And everyone who's ever watched sports consistently knows that's true. That's why we use the word clutch and we say a clutch gene. Jalen Hurts does have that. So if the Philadelphia Eagles can just keep things on track, just don't let the train wreck and just keep the quotes to the media, at a minimum. Let's not go talking to reporters in the locker room, talking about how this could be a collapse. Let's stop the internal squabbling, not read books on the sidelines. Let's not take shots at the quarterback. If we can just stop all of that, we're fine. I say we, I'm not even an Eagles fan, but that's my message if I'm Sirianni. Let's stop all the squabbling. Let's stop all the finger pointing and the backstabs and the, underhanded comments. Stop. This should ease it. The Vikings have a really good defense. Hurts carved them up. Both of the receivers went for 100 yards. You should both be very happy. I don't think Jalen Hurts will fail them. If they can just keep all of the external and internal issues to a minimum, I think Jalen Hurts will deliver for them. I really do. The only way this team collapses is if the personalities start fighting and they all turn on each other. If Hurts is distributing the ball like today, they're going to be absolutely fine. Minnesota, I don't have a lot to say about Minnesota because I really don't believe in them. I think they don't have good quarterback play. I really like Kevin O'Connell. He needs good quarterback play. He doesn't have it. Philadelphia, they sit atop the NFC East, 5-2. Dallas right behind them. Don't worry, we will be getting to Dallas. One thing I wanted to mention, I had it highlighted on my paper. Philadelphia, 3 for 10 on third down efficiency. Now, they were 2 for 3 on fourth down, so that's okay. Got to get better at converting those third downs. That might come back to bite you. Let's go to Green Bay. Green Bay and Arizona in a game, I don't know why, but a game I thought Green Bay would kind of take care of business, and they didn't. They struggled. They almost lost this football game. They won 27-23, and I don't have a lot of broad thoughts on this game. This is one I kind of want to dig in deeper. I watched it live, but I need more from this Green Bay offense if I'm going to believe that they're a Super Bowl contender. And early in the year, I was pretty confident that they were a Super Bowl threat. I felt like they had as good a shot as anyone. Anyone watching the channel knows I picked the Bucs to go to the Super Bowl preseason, but I think last year I picked the Packers. I'm a big Packers believer. My wife is, a pseudo Packers fan. I think they're a good football team. I like Jordan Love. I like Matt LaFleur. Something just feels off. And if there's any Packers fans that stumble across this video, please, genuinely, first, subscribe to the channel. Second, comment below. Tell me, do you feel it too? Are you guys happy with your team? Do you feel confident? Or does it feel like something's missing? I might dive in and do like a film deep dive this week. I don't know. We'll see how, time permits. But it just feels like the offense isn't as creative as it normally is. And I don't know if that's a Matt LaFleur thing, because usually Matt LaFleur, I always thought, has been a really great offensive play caller and one of the better offensive minds in football. But I watched some of the route combinations. I watched some of the play calling today, and where at times you can put it on Jordan Love just from the broadcast angle. And again, watching football on the broadcast angle, you're missing half of the picture. So it's, anything could change after I watched all 22. But I didn't feel like Jordan Love was the issue today. I just felt like they weren't put in a position to succeed. They're not having a lot of plays, and not just this week. This goes back most of the season. Green Bay is not having a lot of plays offensively that impresses me. I don't feel like they're attacking the defense in the most creative ways. I don't feel like they're using leverage as well as they could. And I don't think they are chaining plays together, like giving you this particular look and 12 personnel, keep building off of that look, and then hit you with some sort of play action or fake off that look because we got you biting one way. Things like that. You might have already turned this video off. This is just broad thoughts here. Green Bay fans probably know what I'm talking about. Anyone else? Tell me, if when you watch Green Bay, it just feels like something is off. Jordan Love, 19 for 29, 179 yards, and a touchdown. And it's just not very good against Arizona, who, Arizona's feisty. They're better than their 2-5 record. Absolutely. They could have won a lot of those football games. They're all basically one-score games. But you want Jordan Love to do more than that against them. And on the ground, Josh Jacobs, 13 carries, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, but still only 4.2 yards a carry. Before we continue with the video, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Tell your friends about it. We're trying to grow this channel. Subscribe so you feel better about your sports takes. Back to the video. They also had 10 penalties for 94 yards. You want to see that cleaned up. One of the stories of the game is going to be Micah Parsons, because he had 3 sacks. He was all over the field. They don't win this football game without him. He's awesome. I know some people have said he's had up and down. Sometimes he disappears. Micah Parsons is awesome. Green Bay went out and got him specifically for games like this, for big moments. And anytime there's a big moment, he's going to show up. Even if he's not making the play, he is disrupting the play. He is flushing the quarterback out into another sack, making him get rid of the ball early, breaking the play down some way, somehow. Micah Parsons is amazing. If Green Bay can just figure out the offense and make it a little bit more threatening. It seems like the offense is missing a gear. Yeah, they're putting up some points, 27, but there's another gear to be found. I hope they're able to find it, because if they do, the defense is good enough and they're talented enough to make a real Super Bowl run. Let's move over and talk about the London game that started this morning. This is a great example to me and to everyone else that there really are levels to this shit, because I thought Jaguars +3 was a really good bet. I was like, yeah, Puka Nakua's out. The Jaguars are comfortable in London. They're feeling good. They're, healthier. They're rolling, had beat the Chiefs. Everything's going right. You're going to play them in basically a home game. Puka's gone. This is a perfect situation. Boom, you wake up and you get punched in the fucking mouth. That's what happens in the National Football League. You can feel like you've got everything stacked in your favor, and then you remember that you can get punched in the fucking mouth. And the Rams punched the Jaguars in the mouth. And that is the takeaway. There are levels to this game. I think Liam Cohen is doing a really good job with Jacksonville. I have sworn off believing in Jacksonville because they burned me too many times, and Trevor Lawrence is too streaky for my personal taste, so I just don't pick them to do anything. And then today, when I put a little bit of belief in them, Jaguars +3, they should win this game outright, and they just get their doors blown off. It's never close. From the first snap, it's a disaster. They are not on the same level as the Rams, and that's why after they beat the Chiefs, and everyone was like, oh, the Jags are for real. And even though I am biased, I'm a Chiefs guy, I was like, yeah, but do you really is anyone going to pick the Jaguars to beat the Chiefs if we get into December? Really? Is anyone going to do that? The answer is no, because the Rams come out there with no Puka Nacua in London, as far a trip as you can take, even though they stayed on the East Coast. I understand that. It's just an impressive performance. And it shows you that Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, they're still at the top of their game. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what they do, how many games they lose. I'm always going to be a believer in McVay and Stafford. The Rams are a team to be dealt with. They are dangerous, and the Jaguars learned that the hard way. As for the Jaguars, they're still second in the AFC South. They're 4-3. Right there behind Indianapolis, 6-1. I think a wild card could be on the table for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's going to be a tight race because I don't see any way they win that division because, as I said at the top of this segment, there are levels to this shit. And I think the Jags are on a different level from the Rams. And I also think the Jags are on a different level from the Indianapolis Colts. Let's go ahead and use that to transition. You like how I did that? Sometimes I can be professional. That's all I'm saying. Colts defeated the Chargers 38-24 in a game where the score was closer than the game. The Colts just kind of controlled it. They really did. As I said about the Rams from snap one, same with the Colts. I wrote down as I was watching the game, feels like the Colts can do anything that they want. It was long drives. It was wonderful play calling, and it was superb execution. They just dominated the game. Maybe the Chargers crawl back into it. Herbert throws a pick in the end zone later in the game that felt like the backbreaker to me, and I give the Chargers credit for crawling back into it, but the Chargers just have too many injuries. The offensive line is a mess. Herbert got sacked 3 times, but he's running around. They couldn't run the football at all. Herbert was the leading rusher, 31 yards. Vidal, 20 yards on 9 carries. They weren't committed to it. On the other side, and also they had gotten down, so they kind of had to throw the ball. Jonathan Taylor, 16 carries, 94 yards, 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones, 23 for 34, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Colts are the definition of balance. When Shane Steichen got hired at Indianapolis, I thought it was just a brilliant move. I thought it was the perfect hire because what he did when Philadelphia was so impressive. You could just watch his offensive scheming. Everything he did was great. The way he unlocked Jalen Hurts. Shane Steichen is one of those guys, which is what you want your coach to be, that tailors the scheme to the players he has. He doesn't take the players and try to force them into the scheme he likes to run. He's like, hey, what do you guys do well? And let's build our team around that. Within that, obviously he has his way he likes to play. He likes to go under center a lot. He likes to run the ball. He likes to control the clock, play action. But that suits Daniel Jones. And we see that Daniel Jones is a very, very good quarterback when he has a good coach. Daniel Jones looked good that year with Dayball when they had some protection and could, actually sling the ball around. They won a playoff game. They beat the Vikings. The Colts are for real. And I've been on the fence about how serious are they? Can they win playoff games, or is it just a nice regular season story? No, they're for real, because when they're balanced like they are most of the time, it's just so hard to stop them. They throw so many things at you. They can beat you so many different ways. They can just pound the rock with Jonathan Taylor. They can hit you over the top with Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones' mobility is also a big thing. He is not afraid to use his legs. He's always looking to throw but he will use his legs to escape, find somebody downfield, keep a play alive when it does break down. You pair that with their defense, who isn't superb, but it is good. Lou Anarumo, the Bengals fired unceremoniously because, their roster was bad. And they said, hey, Lou Anarumo, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You're gone, buddy. Absolutely crazy decision. And now the Colts have him, and they're rolling, man. 14 passing first downs, 9 rushing first downs in this game, 4 for 5 in the red zone for the Indianapolis Colts. Everything was going according to plan. They sit atop the division 6-1, Jaguars 4-3, and it just feels like it's their division to lose. As long as nothing happens, as long as something catastrophic doesn't take place, how is Jacksonville going to run them down? Because, as I said, I like Jacksonville. I think they're doing a good job this year. Cohen's a good coach. He's getting what he can out of Lawrence, but it's been a little rocky. It's been up and down. And the Colts just feel like they are a well-oiled machine. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to overcome them and win the division. Next 4 games for Indianapolis: Tennessee, at Pittsburgh, Atlanta, at Kansas City, which will be one we all have circled. I mean, they should be able to win 3 of the next 4 for sure. 2-2 at worst. The Colts are going to be in a great position as we head into the second half of the year. My Kansas City Chiefs put it on the Raiders, 31-0, a shutout. Patrick Mahomes was chilling before the fourth quarter even started. It was like a college game out there. If the previous games hadn't done it, this should put the rest of the league on notice. It just made me think of Poltergeist. They're back, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm so happy because I just feel vindicated. Rashee Rice returned, and he was a factor immediately. 7 catches for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kelsey, 3 for 54. Brashard Smith, 5 for 42. Tyquan Thornton, 1 for 39. Juju, 3 for 35. Xavier, 3 for 35. Noah Gray, 1 for 28. Hollywood Brown, 2 for 14. Do you see what it was supposed to look like, everyone? This is what the offense was supposed to look like last year. They had Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown. Last year, Hollywood Brown gets hurt in preseason. Rashee Rice goes down in the Chargers game, like week 2 or 3, and then it was just Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce, and Worthy was a rookie. That was it. This year, Worthy goes down in week 1. Rice still suspended, but this is the first time you've seen Hollywood Brown healthy, and he's starting to be a factor. Tyquan Thornton emerging as a deep threat. Juju, still a good gadget piece. But with Rashee Rice back into it, this is a Super Bowl team. And when the offense plays like that, the defense plays better. They immediately got Rice involved, and they're just an elite offense. You're finally seeing what the vision for this team has been for the past 2 years. And injuries derailed it. And despite all of that, they went to the freaking Super Bowl last year. Yes, they got their teeth kicked in. Not doubting that. Congratulations. It was a beatdown. It was embarrassing. But the fact that they got there with that roster, with the amount of injuries, to me, was just a testament to Patrick Mahomes and to Andy Reid. And now you're seeing this is what it was supposed to look like. Pacheco starting to run with a purpose again. I don't think he's an elite back or anything, but you're starting to see the physical runs. Like, he's looking more like he did his rookie season. I think Nance and Romo even talked about it on the broadcast. When the offense plays this good, it also energizes the defense because they know that the other side can go out and put up points. Mahomes is so confident, maybe a little too confident because, could have been a couple turnovers today. The ball bounced the Chiefs' way for sure. But Mahomes, the MVP front runner, it's him and Baker right now. It's so great to watch as a Chiefs fan. I know you all hate it. I know you hate it. But a lot of you are going to pretend it's not happening. But anyone that watches me consistently will tell you I'm honest. Even though I am a Chiefs fan, I just show you that so you know where my bias stands. But I really do believe I am genuinely unbiased. I try to shoot you straight. I call it like I see it. I did not predict the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl this year because I think even I underestimated a little what this offense would look like. The other big thing Kansas City has going for them, and you've heard a lot of people talk about this, there's just not really a lot of elite teams in the NFL. That fucking dreaded word that I really hate, parity, but it is a thing this year. The parity is evident. I think as the season continues to progress into the later months, you're going to see a couple teams separate. You're already starting to see it. I think Indianapolis is one of those. Tampa Bay, the Rams, Detroit. There are the teams you expect that are going to start to elevate from the pack. The Chiefs are one of them. But this would be the year, we said that last year too, that if there was a team that was elite and could have capitalized on Kansas City's slow start, it would be one thing. But Buffalo losing their last two, they're not even at the top of their division. The Chargers probably could have been that team, and injuries got them. And I hate that. Injuries got Kansas City last year because the Chargers' offensive line situation is going to be hard to overcome. But the AFC is just absolutely wide open. The NFC's a little bit more solid, but it's open too. Right now in the AFC West, Denver sits atop the division 5-2. If they had lost that game, we'd have a 3-way tie for the division lead. But right now, it's Denver at 5-2, then the Chargers and the Chiefs at 4-3. The Chiefs are coming, so you better have an answer. You better be able to put up points because unless they turn the football over, I don't know how you stop this offense. Patrick Mahomes, man, he's so good. Andy Reid's so good. It's good to have Rice back. He was an idiot. We're not going to celebrate his return it was unjust or something. He's lucky he didn't kill somebody. Regardless, the Chiefs are rolling. Had to talk about it just briefly. I'm a humble man. I'll admit when I am wrong. After week 2 of the season, on one of the weekly recap episodes, I talked about how, I just wasn't seeing a lot of pizzazz from Drake Maye. I wasn't seeing a lot of special. Fucked that one up, didn't I? This kid can play football. Now, I will kind of hedge my bet a little bit and just say I liked him a lot in the draft process. I liked him because there were rumors as the draft process came that he was starting to fall because he ended up falling, I think, and was the third quarterback. And I had him as my second favorite. I thought he looked great. I loved watching his tape at North Carolina. I thought he threw with anticipation, thought he had a big arm, liked the way he moved. And we're seeing that right now. What a game from Drake Maye. I know it was against the Titans. They win 31-13, but I don't care who you're playing. When you watch football and you know what you're looking for, you can tell if it's just you're playing a bad team or you're getting lucky or you know where to throw. You're throwing into tight windows. You're throwing with anticipation. You're throwing with accuracy, and that's what he's doing. You're maneuvering the pocket. 21 of 23, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns, 8 carries for 62 yards. New England's got a quarterback, guys, a real legit quarterback. Last week on some of the sports shows, I heard people saying Drake Maye, is creeping into that MVP discussion. And I thought that was a little crazy because, full disclosure, I was going to do a film breakdown after the Bills game. And I went and was watching the film, and I didn't think most of the people on YouTube would like it because my takeaway from that game was he was hitting a lot of easy layups, and the plays he made in that Buffalo game were him scrambling, outside the pocket, finding digs, finding someone. And all that's cool, but a lot of guys can do that. Caleb Williams can do that. I didn't see him standing in the pocket, going through progressions, and throwing with anticipation a lot in the Buffalo game. So I didn't feel like it was worthy of making a controversial video topic when I thought the kid was playing good. I didn't want to kill him because he wasn't doing the things I want to see from before I'm going to say you're a legit franchise quarterback. He's doing it now. I think this was the most impressive game of his young career. I just was sitting there like this in disbelief at some of the throws he was making and just the confidence. The confidence, he's just letting it rip. Man, Drake Maye is something else. And The Patriots, man, I picked them to be a wild card team. They could win a playoff game right now. Hell, right now they could win the division. The Patriots sit atop the AFC East. The Bills are fading and the Pats are surging. They stand 5-2. Buffalo right behind them at 4-2. Buffalo already had their bye. They're firing on all cylinders. Vrabel got his revenge on Tennessee. Watch out for New England because they could beat a lot of good teams. They really could, because another hallmark of a good team is when you play the bad teams, do you make them look bad? And they made the Titans look bad. Let's use this opportunity, because I didn't this week, to just talk about the Titans firing Brian Callahan. I'm not opposed to them firing Brian Callahan. That had to happen. I understand that. He was a bad football coach. Bad is being generous. He was a fucking terrible football coach. Like, genuinely terrible. He didn't understand the rules. He didn't know what he was doing half the time. He was truly in over his head. So I'm not saying they made the wrong decision firing him. What I am going to say is, when you continue to turn over staff at the rate that the Titans do, you really can't expect to ever be a successful franchise. It's just constant turnover. Fire the head coach, then a year later, half a year later, fire the GM, back and forth. Always power struggles going on within the organization. This team fired Mike Vrabel, and look what he's doing in New England. He cleaned up Gerard Mayo's mess like that, and the Titans got rid of him because he was mean. He didn't smile enough, and obviously everyone knows it. The problem with the Titans is their owner. I don't even remember her last name. I call her Amazing Amy, like if you've seen the movie Gone Girl, because I guess she thinks she's amazing running this organization. She has no idea what she's doing. Absolutely no clue. This is a typical example of bad ownership. We see it all the time. The Browns are another example. And even talented people can't overcome bad ownership. Mike Vrabel had the Titans as the 1 seed. How did that should have you even more impressed with Mike Vrabel, because the Titans are a dumpster fire. It also just makes me feel bad for Cam Ward, because he's talented, and he's going to have his rookie season completely wasted on a lame duck coach and a coaching search and terrible ownership. And then you're going to have a GM and head coach power struggle because the GM's not going to hire him. Amy's going to do it. We just set these quarterbacks up to fail. We really do. This is why you see like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, guys have a renaissance of their career, because no one can survive in these situations. Mahomes says all the time, man, how grateful he is that he got drafted into a good situation. And it's true, because it was Chicago and Caleb. Why they brought Matt Eberflus back when they're drafting a new quarterback and didn't just start fresh. You can go back and watch the episodes on this channel. We said it then. Everybody said it. The Titans did the same thing. Why did you keep Callahan and draft Cam Ward? Was there anything that Callahan had done to give you confidence that he was the guy? Was there one single thing? Was there one moment in one game that made you think, this guy can lead our organization? Hey, I know we're 1-16, but he's got it between the ears. Of course not. Of course that didn't happen. So why go into this season with him, with a rookie quarterback, just so you can stunt his development, and then in 2 years, you'll get rid of Cam Ward and be like, well, if we could just get the quarterback right, this organization, it's a joke. I mean, you're setting these kids up to fail because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It just drives me crazy. But happens all the time. You see it throughout the league, because a lot of these owners have no concept what sport they're in. They think they're running a business, and they don't understand football. They don't have the first clue what makes a winning organization. And that becomes evident when they continue to make moves like this. Not that Callahan should have stayed. Callahan should have been gone before this season, and you should have brought someone in to mentor and grow your young quarterback. And now you've just destroyed a year of his growth and probably set him back a year or two. You're not going to know. Well, you're not going to know what you think about Cam Ward until year 3 at the earliest. You're just shooting yourself in the foot at every turn. The Cowboys beat the Commanders 44-22 in a game that they really controlled. They're still behind Philly right now. Dallas is 3-3-1. Philly leads the division at 5-2. I just wanted to make sure that I made a video and said Dak Prescott is playing arguably the best ball of his career. He is on fire. I will admit it when I'm wrong, and I was wrong. I thought Schottenheimer was a disastrous hire. I honestly thought keeping Dak was just spinning the wheels for no reason, and he has proven me wrong. 21 for 30, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb had 110 and a touchdown. Pickens had 82. This is arguably the best offense in the league. Dak Prescott's amazing, and it sucks because their season is going to be up and down because of the defense. They're going to have a chance to win every single game because Dak is that good. The offense is that good. Javonte Williams, he had 116 yards. He's good. We thought the run game was going to be a weakness. They can run when they want to. They can run. They'll pass all over you. They're scoring 30, 40 a week. The problem is their defense is terrible, and you're going to score too. They have to outscore every single team they play. And it really is unfortunate that even if you had Micah Parsons, I don't know how much it fixes this defense. I really don't, because it's not even him. Like, secondary's bad. They've got a lot of issues. Defense is the worst in the league. You're going to waste such a great quarterback season, arguably the best of his career. Such a great offensive season, and it's just going to be thrown away because of how bad the defense is, and that's a shame. Maybe they can continue to outscore enough teams to make a wild card. I don't think they can win the division. They're already, they're essentially 3 games behind Philly because they lost the head-to-head. They had that tie with Green Bay, which could end up helping them, hurting them. I don't know. I don't think they win the division. They're going to have to hope to be a wild card. It's just unfortunate because you watch the offense and you're like, man, if they just had a top 16 defense, top 20 defense, like they would have a chance. You could see them having the same path of like the first Super Bowl that the Chiefs won with Mahomes. Like, the defense isn't very good, but the offense is going to score 50 on you, and the defense will make a big stop when they need to. Dallas doesn't have that ability. The offense can score at will, but the defense, not only is it bad in general, they can't make a big stop in a big moment, because you could sacrifice the defense being less than ideal if they would adopt a bend but don't break mentality, and they could just have 1 or 2 key stops in a game, maybe 1 turnover. You need the defense to steal you a possession. If you're Dallas, if the defense can snag you a possession, you can win almost any game with this offense. You're put in a box because you can only win one way, outscoring people. That's going to be a problem as you get later in the season and come up against real playoff threats. Are they going to be able to win enough games to make the playoffs in the first place? I don't know. It is possible, but you don't have any room for error because you have to put 40, 50 up every week. Hat off to Dak, though, because he's having an amazing season. It's similar to like Burrow last year. Like, if Dak Prescott had any kind of defense, he would be maybe the MVP favorite right at the top. So credit to him. Unfortunate that's getting wasted with Jerry Jones, inability to build a roster, but he still deserves tip of our cap. CeeDee Lamb coming back looking great, and Pickens playing his way into a big contract. It is. I wonder how Dallas fans feel, because they've had teams recently that have been better teams, but watching the air show has got to be kind of fun. I love watching Dak play right now. I am making sure I don't miss a Dak Prescott pass, and I haven't said that in a while. That's pretty cool. All right, everybody, that's the show for today. We're almost at an hour. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We got a Monday night doubleheader. I'll probably have to jump on, talk about those games. Might try to squeeze in some Falcons talk. We might throw in some college football this week. We'll come back also middle of the week and preview some games. We've got so much coming at you. Full throttle, middle of the NFL season. The grind never stops. We're in it for the love of the game. Thank you all for being here. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Trying to build something here. If you like my content, if you have suggestions, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. I reply to all the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I appreciate all of the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Tristan. This is Sports Bluff. I'll see you later on this week. Goodbye.